Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to YAHAWAH, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth according to the Bible through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, bahasham, Yahawashi. And a sincere peace and salutation to all you hopefully Akim out there pushing his word in all truth and sincerity, doing the work as YAHAWAH, bahasham, Yahawashi has created us to do, so he can wake up and seal the elect of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and you Israelites who are scattered amongst the heathen nations that may look like the heathen nations, but your father's seed line goes back to you being a so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American, one of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And Shalom. It's your brother Halak from the GMS Denver camp, coming back once again through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, bahasham, Yahawashi through the video. And we're going to start here on Psalms 149 and 5, man. Because at the end of the day, the Lord Yahawashi is coming to take you heathen nations down. He's coming to put you in subjection up under his people forevermore, man. Why? For all the things that you've done unto us. When we come out and say these things, we're not just making these things up, man. These are things that have been written in the scriptures from the beginning. These are the judgments that's coming upon you, heathen, for what you have done unto the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, man. And all of you are going to pay, chiefly you Edomites, the so-called white race, who has put the most hell upon us, you see, more than any other nation on this earth. You're all going to pay, man. Point blank, period. So this is Psalms 149 and 5. It says what? Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. And this goes into what? Us going into that rest that the Most High has promised us, man. That rest in the kingdom of heaven. You see? When we're going to finally have rest from all sorrow, pain, anguish, tribulation. You see, never being subject to payments ever again. You see, never going into captivity ever again, never being oppressed ever again, man. That's when we're going to be singing aloud upon our beds, because we will be in our rest. And YAHAWAH, bahasham, Yahawashi is causing that day to come closer and closer. Salakia. It's coming faster and faster each and every day, man. It goes on to say what? Verse 6. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. Why? For what you've done unto us. All of you heathen nations have to pay, man. You can call us hateful and racist and bigots all you want to, but at the end of the day, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, lash for a lash, man. Point blank, period. You heathen nation thought you were just walk all over us and oppress us forevermore, and there was never oppress the people of the Most High for all these centuries, man. And there was never going to be a consequence for it, but you're sadly mistaken. Because that's exactly what's written in the scriptures, man. That's a part of the good news. That's a part of the gospel. That the Most High is gonna allow his people to get vengeance over their enemies, man. And we're going to pull a few more precepts to show you that. Verse 8 says what? To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. Even the elites of you heathen nations, all of you are going into captivity, man. We're going to put chains and irons upon your neck, just like you did unto us. Verse 9 says what? To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints, praise ye the Lord. You see that? This is the judgment that's been written. And this is what must come to pass because it's prophecy. This is not something, a figment of our imagination, man. This is what the scriptures really say. Let's get a few more. What does it say in Isaiah 14 and 1? It says what? Matter of fact, before we even get that, let's get Micah chapter. Let me see. Zechariah 2 and 8. It says what? For thus saith YAHAWAH of hosts, after the glory have he sent me unto the nations, which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. Do you hear that? That's what you heathen nations have done, bro. For Satan's. Boy. Damn you, Satan. Call Allah Yahawashi Yahawashi. Zechariah 2 and 8 says what? For thus saith YAHAWAH bahasham Yahawashi of hosts, after the glory have he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. And all of you nations have had a part in destroying the Israelites, man. All of you nations that had a part in oppressing us. Go back and read our history. You see, and even more so in these last days, man, all of you heathen nations that have partaken in the oppression and enslavement of the 12 tribes of Israel, beginning with you Edomites. And you all have to pay, because it tells you in the next verse that what? For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And ye shall know that Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi of hosts have sent me. Why? Because through the mouth of the Most High speaking through the mouth of the prophets by way of the Holy Spirit, telling you nations what's about to happen. So when it comes upon you, you're going to know that Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi did this to you, man. Because the false idols of these nations, they're not saying this. They're talking about peace and prosperity and all this other BS. That's not coming to you heathen nations. What's coming to you heathen nations, man? Vengeance from the Most High's people. We're going to put our foot in your ass, man. Because that's exactly what you did to us. Now let's go to Isaiah 14. What does it say? Isaiah 14:1. For thus saith Yahawah, for Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. Why? Because we are the Most High's chosen people. We are that promised seed that Most High. We are that promised seed that the Most High told Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was coming, man. That his seed would be what? As the stars of heaven for multitude, as the sand of the sea for multitude. That's us, man, the Israelites. We are the Most High's chosen people. And that has never changed, and it never will change. And what does the Most High say he's going to do? And set them in their own land, meaning what? Saving us from the hands of our enemies, as he tells us all throughout the prophecy, man. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Who are these strangers that's going to cleave unto the house of Jacob? Israelite foreigners waking up in these last days by the preaching of this word, man. That includes us. We've awakened out of that dead state. And we're cleaving unto our true heritage through the Holy Spirit of Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi, man. Proclaiming that we are the Israelites. Proclaiming that the Almighty Yahawah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, is the God of Israel. Proclaiming that his only begotten son, the one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, whose true name is Yahawashi, is the Lord and Savior of the nation of Israel. And he's coming to save us from the hands of our enemies. And he's coming to destroy this beast system that we currently are being oppressed in, man. That's what we're doing, cleaving unto the house of Jacob, man. Cleaving unto who we truly are. Verse 2 says what? And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahawah for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And that's what's coming. Just like you heathen nations got us in captivity all throughout this earth right now, the time is going to come when the Most High is going to save us from this captivity, and the roles are going to be reversed. We're going to be on top. We're going to be sovereign. We're going to have complete dominion over the planet Earth. And you heathen nations are going to be oppressed by us forevermore, man. You're going to become our captives. We're going to take you into slavery. This is written all throughout the scriptures, man. That's a part of the good news. This is what the remnant is cleaving unto, man. Having that ruling class mentality. This is what we want, man. And Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi has promised to give it to us. So it is going to come to pass. Verse 3 says what? And it shall come to pass in that days that Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi will give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. He's going to end our suffering here, man. You see, he's going to take us away from all this shit that we suffer up under our enemies and in these foreign lands, man. You see, that's the gospel. That's the good news, that we are going to be saved and we're going to rule over our enemies, man. Let's get another one. That's Isaiah 30. Oh, yeah. That's right. Jeremiah 30, slacking. Yup. Jeremiah 30:16 says what? Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Do you hear that? Now, what can we go and read about all of our adversaries, all of our enemies? In Psalms 83, it gives you a rundown. And the chief enemy is who? The Edomite, the so-called white race. That's what the list. That's who the list starts with. And every nation after that, all of you Edomites included, you Edomites especially, all of you are going into captivity. All of you are going to have chains and shackles about your neck, man. Why? Because you spoiled us. Because you held us captive. That's what the law requires. You see? The Most High is perfectly balanced in everything that he does, man. He allowed you to have the Israelites in captivity for all these centuries, for all this time. Now he's about to save us and take us out of captivity, and he's going to put you heathen in our position as being what? Slaves in the earth. But this time it's going to be perpetual slavery for you heathen nations, man. You're never going to be out from under our foot. You're going to always be bowing down unto the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven. I mean, except for you Edomites, because after that 1,000 years of hardcore bondage of building up our kingdom, we're gonna completely eradicate you Edomites from the earth, man. You see, you're gonna be terminated, exterminated. You see, annihilated. You see, because there's no place for an Edomite on the planet Earth, man. So we're just gonna get rid of the family tree of Esau, Edom completely, man. This is the judgment coming for what's been done unto us. You see? This is what has to happen, and this is what will happen. Let's get Revelation 13. Not 13, yeah. Revelation 13, verse 9. Yep. Revelation chapter 13, verse 9, it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Now, how did we get on this side of the world, man? The so-called white race put us on slave ships and brought us over here. Meaning what? He led us into captivity. So what does the scriptures call for? It calls that whoever led who into captivity must go into captivity. This is the fate of the so-called white race. Not only you, but for the rest of the heathen nations who had a part in this, man. And all of you have. Why do you think you heathen nations are so wealthy? You're so wealthy because the Israelites are in captivity, going to their enemy for the one of all things, and we're having to buy your goods and services, man. That's why you heathen nations are so wealthy, man. Because you got rich off the back of the off the back of the Israelites who are being oppressed and enslaved all throughout the world, man. So Revelation 13:9 says what? If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Point blank period, man. And this is future prophecy. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. You see that? This is what we're patiently waiting on, man. This is why we're in the spirit of not avenging ourselves, because we know that the Most High is going to give you heathen over into our hands, man. And when it finally happens, man, it's going to be so fucking sweet. It's going to be sweet, man. To finally be able to get vengeance and revenge for all the atrocities, all the rape, robbery, and murder that's been committed against us, man. You see, if you calling yourself a Hebrew Israelite and you don't want this right here, you don't want justice to come to the earth, man. You're not in the spirit. Got guys out here complaining because we're going against the heathen nations and telling them the judgment they have coming upon them. That's what we're supposed to be doing as the prophets, man. Letting the heathen know that they're going to pay for what they've done unto us, man. And rightly so. Rightly so, man. Because what does it tell you? What does it tell you? Real quick. Second Thessalonians 1:7, it says what? Verse 6, it says what? Seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. It's a righteous thing, man, for the Most High to recompense or reward these heathen nations for what's been done unto us, man. Once again, for all the rape, robbery, and murder, man. They were raping the men. They were raping the women. They were raping the children in front of their families, man. Stealing our children and feeding them to fucking alligators. Gator bait, man. Fucking mangling and castrating and mutilating our men and women, man. Hanging us, lynching us. All these things these people have done unto us. You got Jake talking about let bygones be bygones, man. Fuck all that. You're supposed to want to get vengeance upon your enemies, man. And it's a righteous thing with the Most High to be in that spirit. So 2 Thessalonians 1:6 says what? Seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. It is a righteous thing, man. A very righteous thing to want vengeance upon our enemies, man. To want to see Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi take these motherfuckers down. And that's what's going to happen. That's what we're crying out for. Verse 7 says what? And to you who are troubled, rest with us when the Lord Yahawashi shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels. You see? So that's what we're doing, man. We're patiently waiting for the Lord Yahawashi to come and take us away from this oppression that we suffer, man. And it's happening. All the prophecies are unfolding. America's on the downward spiral, man. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse the closer we get to the end. Until what? The fire rain down, man. You see? So let's get another one. Man, let's go to the law. Let's see what the law says, because we gotta once you understand what's about to happen in the earth when it comes to the Most High's chosen people, that we're gonna rule the earth in righteousness according to the laws, that is the commandments of the Most High. It tells us what in the law? That you heathen nations are supposed to be our bondmen and bondwomen, bondmen and bondmaids for what? As perpetual slaves, man. That's a part of our law. And if we're going to be upholding the law to the utmost in the kingdom of heaven, it's a law that we have you heathen nations in slavery, man. Let's show you that. There's a Leviticus. Yep, there it is. There it is. It's Leviticus 25:44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids which thou shalt have shall be of the heathen that are round about you. That's all of you nations outside of the nation of Israel. You're supposed to be our bondmen and bondmaids, right? Now it says what? Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids, which are what? Slaves. That's what you heathen nations are, man. You nothing more than that. That's all you have been created to be. See what's going on right now on the earth is slaves running around. Wild, man. Slaves on the loose. It was never meant to be this way. You were always meant to be in subjection up under the Israelites, and that's what we're going back to. You see, because when you go read Isaiah chapter 2 and Micah chapter 4, if I ain't mistaken, or Malachi chapter 4, if I'm mistaken, it's either Micah or Malachi. Matter of fact, before I even go on, let's make sure. Isaiah 2. Yeah, it's Micah chapter 4. You can start at verse 1. Yep. But when you go into those two chapters, it's future prophecy concerning the government of Israel being established in the earth and what they're going to push forth. And what are they going to push forth? The law, statutes, and commandments of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. The things that are written in these scriptures is going to be the law of the planet earth forevermore once the Israelites come into power. You see? And one of the laws that we're going to uphold to the utmost is having you heathen nations in slavery as bondmen and bondwomen for perpetual slaves, man. It goes on to say, listen, Leviticus 25:44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids which thou shalt have shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy. And of your families, and of their families that are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession. You see that? Meaning what? We're going to have ownership over you. And we've already read it in multiple scriptures before we even get to this point right here. This is what it's going to be. Because look, is that not what you did to us? Perfect example. Go watch Django. Steven, that house nigga, that was coming up against Django, who was he working for? At that point in time in the movie, he was working for the son. Why was he working for the son? Because he was passed down as a possession from his father. That's what we're going to be doing with you heathen nations in the kingdom of heaven, man. Your family is going to be possessed by us for generation after generation, and we're going to pass you down as possessions, man, as inheritances for our children. Right here, 46 says what? And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over the brethren of the children of Israel, you shall not rule one over another with rigor. You hear that? So you heathen are our everlasting slaves, man. And we're going to pass you down to our children, to their children's children, to their children, so forth and so on, man. This is what's coming. This is what's about to happen. And we want, fuck them other niggas, man. The remnant of the nation of Israel, we want this, man. Lord willing, not be a part of that number. We want this, man. This is the mindset we're supposed to be in that ruling class mentality, having slaves and servants, man. That's a part of rulership. See, this weak-ass PC society that's being propagated and all throughout the fucking planet Earth, all this weak-ass, effeminate behavior, man. You see? They look down upon having slaves and servants, but that's exactly what you people are. You just being told that you're employees, so forth and so on, man. That shit goes into being a slave. See, when Yahawashi come back, man, we're going to get this thing in order, man. And all of you heathen are going to fall in line. You see? Or get put to the sword, man. Point blank, period. You see? But this is what's coming. You heathen nations are about to be our slaves. Why? Because that's what the law calls for. That's what the Most High says is going to be. And it's not going to be anything other than that. You see? And it's going to be a beautiful thing, man. Oh, before we go on, let's show you. Matter of fact, before we wrap it up, let's get a few right here. Now listen to this. Now these are chapters going into the kingdom of heaven, the vision of the kingdom of heaven, right? Now, it says what? Let's see. To show you that we not fucking around, because this is a prophecy of the kingdom, right? Now, what's going to be happening in the kingdom? Isaiah 60 and 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. You see that the sons of strangers are talking about what? You heathen nations. Serving us and building up our walls, building up our palaces, paving our roads, man. Doing all the menial labor in the kingdom of heaven, just like we're doing now in this current kingdom, man. In every kingdom that's come before this. We've served as slaves. Now it's time for you heathen, you see, to be put in our position on the bottom. And we're going to be on top forevermore. You see? What's another one? Next chapter. Listen to this. Isaiah 61 and 5. And strangers, which are you heathen nations, all of you nations outside of Israel, shall stand and feed your flocks. And the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and vine dressers. We're going to put you heathen nations to work, just like you're doing unto us right now in this current society, man. So it's coming. You heathen nations are about to be put into everlasting bondage under the Israelites, man. Point blank, period. And there's nothing that you can do to stop it. This is the Most High's will, and it shall be done. You see? But yeah, I just wanted to go into that, man, just to keep it fresh in our minds that this is a part of coming into this glory that Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi is about to give us, man. Having slaves, having servants, bondmen and bondwomen that we can pass down into our children, just like the heathen nations have done unto us for all these centuries, man. It's coming. It's coming. Just hold on, man. Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi he's about to be, man, can't even describe, put into words what Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi is about to give unto us if we continue to fight and endure, man. You see? Hey, so with that, I'm going to give all praise, all honor, all glory to Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi, bahasham qadash, Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth according to the Bible through the spirit and power of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, and a sincere peace and salutation to all you hopefully I came out there, pushing his word in all truth and sincerity, doing the work as Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi has created us to do. With that, I say shalom, wa, abba, abba.